This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, guys. Welcome to today's session. We're going to cover Git and dive into HTML. So for today, we're going to learn about Git, and then we're going also to learn about HTML. Yeah, hypertext markup language. So I've already shared my screen, as you all can see. Yeah, we're just going to jump direct to Git. So I do have my notes here. I hope you can see it from your side. So we normally have, so when you want to install Git, you just come to your browser, then you just search Git download. Um, not Git, it's Git bash. Git bash. Just search Git bash download. Then you're going to get you're going to choose your option. We're going to choose this one, which has the 4 squares: blue, green, yeah, etc. Then wait, what am I getting now? Version 2. Let me confirm. Let me confirm my batch from my batch. What do I have? Oh yeah, it's this one. Then you just click on download. Then you're going to, of course, you're going to download it. If you click on download, you're going to download it. I see. If you hover your mouse over our 4 square boxes, it's changing our colors to the one that we are used to, the one that we know. Git is normally in just 4 squares, color blue, kind of green, I don't know, yeah, and such. So once you download, we'll just follow the instructions on how to configure it. It doesn't even require so many instructions on how to configure it. You'll keep on, just click next, and then you'll be able to install it. So once you've installed it, in case you're using Windows, of course you're supposed to download it. So once you install it, of course you just come here, search, and then type for Git. Just search for bash, and then you open it. But so once you install Git, you're supposed to configure it. So why do we configure Git? Just a minute. Let me change my. I want to change my audio here. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, we're good now to go. So I've said, like, once you download it, you can be able to configure it. So how do you configure our Git? And before maybe before we talk about configuring Git, the main reason why we normally no before I explain why should we configure Git, it's let's say maybe you're working on a project. So you guys are working like maybe up to maybe 10 engineers on a project. We have backend engineers, we have front-end engineers working on the same project. And then maybe along the way, one engineer maybe does a mistake, maybe you guys encounter a bug, you encounter an error and such. So due to the configuration, because when you configure Git, the first time you install it, you're going to configure it with your username and then your email. So all the commits that you're going to make, we can be able to get, can be able to go back to the history of the commits. You can be able to know who committed what at what time and which date, which time, Then of course you can be able to know, like it's basically like it's your username, of course your username, which is your username, your email, the date and the time. So you can be able to know in case we encounter an error and such. So the first step that we normally do, of course, after installing it, you have to configure it. So this is normally the initial setup. You have to set it with your username and your email. We normally do it once. So once you are done, you won't do it. You won't keep on doing it. So you just follow these instructions. You don't even have to run the command because you normally do it once. So you just run this command in your bash terminal. You just run it here. I don't want to run it because I've already configured it. Then you run this command to configure your email. You enter your email, and then if you want to check your settings, you normally run this command. If you run this command, you're going to get now the list of your configurations. Of course, you're going to get your username and then your email. Maybe you can try it out to see. It's just a minute. But then you're also supposed to know that Git is in Linux, so it's case sensitive. You aren't supposed to use capital letters. I see it's case sensitive. I'm getting an error. I see. Says this git config list. So let's wait for it, and then going to, as you can see, I do have here my username, user.username, my username now, Brian. Then I have my email, user.email, my email. So the commits that I'm going to make, different commits that I'm going to make, I'm going to, let's say we're working on a project, different engineers, maybe even up to 5 engineers. You can be able to know, like, Brian did what at what time, like his commits, like people can be able to view my commit history, they can be able to get it. So each time we're going to make any changes, and then maybe we want to push our changes to the remote repository. So we normally have a local repo and then a remote repo. So so of course you have your Git installed, and then maybe you want to push it on. So of course you have. I hope you guys have your GitHub installed. But if you don't have GitHub, just it's really easy to sign up on GitHub. It's just easier. So you have to sign up, and then once you sign up, you're not going to configure it. Yeah. So let's say maybe we've now created we've now created. Let me have a look at my repos here. Just a minute as it loads. Wait. Hey, the interface is different. Okay. So in this case, I have different repos. You see. So this time I'm going to push maybe. Let's say now we're working now on such projects, right? Maybe we're working different engineers. So then maybe we are pushing our changes. Like we normally have different branches. We have different branches. So before we now push to the main branch, maybe we want to check out maybe if we do have any issues, and then we do the merging, and then now push it to our main branch. You have to confirm. So the different commits that you're going to make, if you push it on GitHub now, if a person comes to GitHub, he or she will be able to see your username, like what you did on GitHub. You can be able to see it. As you can see, last commit message, you can be able to see it. Then if you come to git bash now, bash means born again shell. If you come to git bash, and then maybe uh, in this case I can't run the command, but we normally use the command git history. So if you run the command git history, you can be able to get the entire history. Maybe you've been working on a project like different people. So you guys are working remotely, but you're working on the same project. So if you run git history, you can be able to get history of all commits that maybe different engineers have actually committed. Yeah. So I've said the first step, you have to set up your Git, set it up, use your username and then your email. You normally do it once. Then on the next step, it's called a repository. We can be able to create a new repo in a current folder. So we normally have a remote repo and then a local repo. A remote repo it's like a folder, but it's now hosted on GitHub. GitHub is like a library whereby you can be able to it's like a library can be able to, it can be used to host our code. Yeah. Then now the local repo is now on your machine. So you want to push in a case whereby you want now to push your code, you want to push it like you want to move it, it's like moving it, you want to move it now from your local machine and then you want to move it to uh to GitHub, can be able to use Git to push your changes. So imagine this case whereby you guys have been working on a project and then along the way maybe it was at night, maybe you're coming from work or whichever place you're coming from at night, then you had your laptop and then your laptop gets stolen. You see, in this case, your laptop gets stolen. So the project that you're working on, if you hadn't pushed the code to GitHub, so you see, you're going to have a challenge one. You guys are going to start afresh. You're just going to start from scratch because you don't even have the code. Uh, like it's of course going to consume your time. Imagine you're going to now sit down, like start from afresh. We have what we call software development life cycle, whereby we're working on a project. We normally follow the it's like a guideline, like when coming from now before starting to code up to the point of deploying our projects, hosting it. In future, making some if you want to make some changes on our project, etc. So in a case where your laptop gets stolen and then maybe you had already pushed your code to now GitHub. It's now hosted on GitHub. You see, in this case, it's easier for you to be able to have access to your code, to your code base that you guys have been working on. So that's what I can say. It's now that's the major benefit of using Git and GitHub. Then next, so when creating a new repository, we normally initialize this. You say git init, which means git initialize. And then you clone it. When you want to clone an existing repository, you just say git clone, then the repo URL. You can try it out. You can try it out. Let's just create. So the first step, you have to create a new repo on GitHub. Yeah, I hope you guys don't have any challenges when it comes to creating a repo account. Maybe for those who be watching this session, this recording session, I know you guys. In case you do have a challenge, just reach out. But in case maybe you do have a challenge, you can be able to research online. Just search online, go to YouTube, you'll be able to figure it out. So let's say you want to create first, you have to create a repo. So let's say you're going to create a repo, Xplosion underscore Academy underscore 2026. So you've created it and then maybe you just give it a description. You say we say a repo of all a repo of mentor support sessions at Explore Academy. And then you come here, say create repository. Then you create it. So once you create it, the next what you're supposed to do, you're now supposed to clone. So what do we mean by cloning? A cloning is basically having a copy, like you have a copy. So you have an original, then you have a copy of it. So we are supposed to clone our remote repo so that we can have it on the local machine. We can have it on the local machine. Can maybe in case we want to make any changes, we want to start coding and be able to start doing it right away. So the command that we normally use is git clone. So you just come here and then you come to a git bash. Then of course you change your directory, just say cd, go to desktop. There, just a minute. Then we just say git clone. Then we paste our URL. We paste our URL, just paste it. So wait. Something interesting. So paste our URL. I don't know. It's not pasting. Git clone. Then paste our URL. So you paste it, then you press enter. If you press enter, it says Xplosion Academy already exists and it's not. Wait, does it exist? Let me see. So you have a folder by the name Xplosion Academy. No. Wait. Let me confirm first. I think I had created a repository. I think I had created a repo called the Xplosion Academy before. Let me recheck first. Then we can. For those who are joining us, we are now learning about Git. So yeah, we created our repo on GitHub. We now want to clone it to have it on our local machine and start playing around with it. So just a minute, I confirm. I don't know if I have. Xplosion Academy 2026. Oh boy, this one. Yeah, it's fine. So okay, I guess again. Let's create I then cd Xplosion. Then you change our directory. We now move to our repo Xplosion Academy. So after that, you can start playing around with it. You can open it in VS Code. You just run the command code and dot, run it. So once you run it, then you just wait. It's going to open it. It's going to open in VS Code. I wait for it to open, but wait. Type it in capital letters or small letters. But I have a capital letter, small letter. See, then it open. No, it's not opening. Oh, okay, nice. That will open. So next, now we clone your repo. We've already clone. Yeah. So next, let's just start playing around with this. I hope you guys can see my screen, right? I hope you can see my screen. Wait. So I have a folder called Xplosion Academy 2026. But I already have a folder, Xplosion Academy 2026. Wait. Okay. Let's try it out. So when you open now, I hope you guys know how to work with VS Code. If you, I know maybe the default user interface of your VS Code, this side, it's on your left, So for this one, you have a file. To create a new file, you just click on file. You can be able to create a new file, new text file, new file. When you can be able to open a folder, you can be able to add a folder to workspace. So what you're supposed to know is that normally in VS Code, you normally work with a folder. So if you don't have a folder, and then maybe you created a file, your code, you won't be able to run your code. We just encounter some issues. Then next you have edit, maybe you want to undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, find, replace, etc. You're able to use it. Then we have selection, copy line up, down, move line up, etc. We have view, we have command, palette, appearance, see appearance. How do wait? So what have I done? You have view. Is this now? Wait. This has happened. You have view, appearance. Yeah. Then we have run terminal. If you want to open a new terminal, just come here. Or maybe you can press Control and then a backtick on your keyboard. Then on this side, we have this what we call a marketplace extension. So you can be able to install different extensions. Like an extension basically helps you, makes your work easier as a developer. So we have different extensions. The first one that you're supposed to install is called a live server. So just run it, search, and then install it. A live server, this one. The one which has been downloaded, not this one. This one, the first one here. Again, it has actually been downloaded, so my install it. Then you also install HTML, CSS, uh, HTML, CSS support. Install it, it supports HTML and CSS. Then you also install browser when you want to run your code. Your HTML code open in browser and install it. Then you also have, what do we have again? Live server, you install our live server, HTML CSS support, browser. What else? That's enough. Yeah. Then, so once you open you've opened our file in VS Code. Next, you can create a folder. Maybe we just make directory. Use the command make directory for creating a folder. Then maybe just say or maybe we just want to create a file. You just say touch index.html. Then we just wait. It will create for us a file index.html. Touch, we normally use the touch command to create a file. A folder, make directory, make mkdir. So you can see we have a file here, index.html. So the first, we normally have what we call a boilerplate code, HTML boilerplate code. So if you want to create a boilerplate code, we normally press shift and then number one. Shift number one, you're going to get an exclamation mark, then you press enter. Wait. Shift number one. Yes, wait. Oh, let's just wait for it to activate HTML, etc. and then other extensions. Then, okay, it's now fine. And shift number one. Don't know, it sounds like it. Let's just try this one. It will work. Just wait for it to disappoint us. Let's wait for it. Then, yeah. Let's wait for it. Just a minute. Let's give it some minutes. Wait, it's not going on here. Running file, create participant, use and takes how long? Let me reopen it. I'm going to activate for how long now? Yes, let's reopen it. But when you create our boilerplate code, let it load. Let it load first. Let it load first. As it loads, want to show you guys certain stuff. So wait for it to open. How long am I going to open? Wait for it to open now in this code. Let's just wait for it. Let's wait for it. Okay. 67 is open. So when we create our boilerplate code, we're going to get our as it opens. Let's wait for it to open. Let's wait for it. Let's wait for it to open in this code. Let's just look at our boilerplate code. Mhm. Yeah. So we have what we call a boilerplate code. This is an example for a boilerplate code, but I'll show you. We'll wait for it to open in the VS Code. So, or maybe can just let me copy it and wait, it's not even working. Why? Okay, the first one, doc type. This one, doc type. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's not working. So the first one, doc type, it specifies the document type. We learn about document object model later in JavaScript. Doc type HTML. So the current version of HTML that we are working with or we are using is HTML version 5. It's just like different iPhone specs, different iPhone types. They have iPhone 17 Pro, etc. etc. So the browser is going to know that we are going to work with HTML version 5. Then next one, this one, it specifies the language that we are going to use. Next one, head. So we have head elements, head, body, etc. So inside our head element, we have this meta equals to UTF minus 8. This one means it supports all types of emojis. Then inside the love emoji, laughing emoji, uh, uh, a heartbreak emoji, cards, flags, etc. Cars. Next one, we have after our head, after meta, we have our title. Inside our title, we now have our title. So the title, when you go to visit any website, whatever appears, normally the title, it appears at the top here, it doesn't appear at the end. This on the URL, but we normally see some like appearing up here. It's what we call the title now. Then you're going to have just ignore this one link, whatever. Then you will have so after the head element, you're going to have now the body element. So head, body. So so you're going to have head. mhm. So you're going to have head, body. Inside our head element, we said you're going to have our title. Inside the body element, now you're going to have different content. Like what do you want to appear on your website? Maybe you want to have an image, can be able to have an image inside the body element. You want to have a video, can be able to have a video inside the body element. You want maybe to have a table, can have a table inside the body element. You want to have a form for users to fill out their information. You can be able to have a form. Um, Maybe you want also to have like what else can you have inside our image, video, etc. Like the different content. You want to have maybe a paragraph. You can have it inside a body element. And then you normally have different tags that we normally use. Let's say for if it's for a form, we have a tag for creating a form element. Paragraph the same way, image, video, table the same way. Then next, what you're supposed now to know is that when creating a HTML element, HTML element, so it normally has it has a then we have a content, then we have closing tag, opening tag, content, number one, number two, number third one. So what's an opening tag? If we say an opening tag, as we my VS Code, it was actually not open. So as we say, so what's an opening tag? An opening tag are just let me want to share. Let me share. Okay. So an opening tag. Uh, so we have an opening tag. We have we have our content, then a closing tag. So let's say, for example, you want to create a paragraph. A paragraph. Maybe hello world. I'm learning HTML. Maybe you want to create a paragraph. Hello world, it's my first day of learning HTML. So how do we now write a paragraph? So for a paragraph, we normally use a P, an abbreviation P for paragraph, P element, but in small letters. So just say P opening tag, you start with less than sign, then the element, the tag P, which means paragraph, then greater than sign, then less than sign, a forward slash, then your tag again P. Then now in between here, we now have our content comes in here. So for example, we want to write print, maybe we want to get an output of hello world, I am learning HTML. So just going to start with a paragraph, closing tag, then you write in between here, you're going to get an output of hello world, I'm learning HTML. Then next, you're supposed to know that we have headings. So for headings, we have just let me just open it here. For headings, we have we have we have six headings. We have six headings. We have heading number one, heading number two, up to heading six for headings. So heading number one is normally the largest heading, the largest one, the largest. We have so for headings, we have heading one, two, heading six, but in small letters. So if you're going to use a heading one, so start with a less than sign, that way forward slash heading one. Then in between, you are going to have your content in between. So if you're going to use heading one, you're going to have the largest, like the largest. So let's go to it's the largest. Then you have heading two, follows is heading three, four, five, two, three, six. So you have different headings. Then you also have image. So you've noticed that where for a paragraph for headings, when creating paragraph for headings, we have an opening tag and a closing tag. But maybe when creating for an image element doesn't have a closing tag. It's self-enclosing. So for an image element, you just create image img, then we give it a source, say src equals to see, it means so you can have your image. Maybe you have your image locally hosted, or like whereby you created a folder for images on your machine, or maybe you want to use your image online. You want to use an online image. See, so we have what we call a uh, relative URL, and then an absolute URL. Just check it out, you get to understand the difference between the two. So we have uh, those. So I've said for an image element, it doesn't have a closing tag like for heading. For heading paragraph, they have an opening tag and then a closing tag. Then now, so if you come here to source, you're going now to get to add the source to your image. It can be either online or maybe you've created a folder for images. And then you're going to give it an alt, what we call attributes. You give it an alt attribute. Yeah, alt equals to what? So an alt is an abbreviation of alternate text. In a case whereby maybe your image won't be able to load due to network issues, or maybe your image gets broken when a person comes online, he or she can't get access to your image. The alternate text, or maybe a person who is visually impaired, they're using their screen readers, then they come across your image. The screen reader is going to read out loud the alternate text, so the person will be able to know this is a logo. But now when creating an alternate text, you don't, if it's a logo, you don't say an image of a logo or a picture of a logo, because we already know it's a picture and image. So just say a logo. If it's a beach, just say a beach. If it's a flower, just say a flower. So in the case whereby your image won't be able to load, the user will be able to see. I expect to have an image of maybe a flower here. It is here. Then what else? What else can you say? Yeah. Then now, uh, wait, you don't want to open in VS Code. Hey, what's going on here? I have trouble here. What's going on here? Hmm, What's going on here? Hmm. I don't know. I don't understand why my VS Code doesn't want to open. Cause so let me exit it. Let me exit it and then I open it afresh so that I can just get to see some commands in action. Okay. Let me just open. I have to open a folder. Then I'll get into it. Then I'm going to open it in VS Code. Then if you open it, let's just wait for it to open. Right now, I'm going to let's let it open. Then why can't it open in VS Code? Today's my day. Okay, I'm disappointed. Um, Let's wait for it to open. Let's have a look at HTML. or maybe not even HTML. Because it doesn't want to open. I don't want to restart my machine. I feel like this with schools. Equate schools. If we come here, we have it's actually free. You can be able to learn anything for free. So if you search for Git, you're going to come here. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Then if you come, we've already learned how to Git. You can be able to track our code, etc. etc. Then you have concept. You have a repository, a folder. A repo is a folder where Git tracks your changes. Clone to make a copy. Stage to tell Git which changes you want to save next. So you clone, you stage, first you stage, and then you commit, and then you push. So if you stage, we normally use the command for staging is this one. Can you be able to wait if I can't open another one? Okay, fine, it's okay. So for staging, can be able to stage. Maybe you want to add all files. Just say git add space dot a specific file. Git add index dot html. Then after staging, we next go to the next stage, which is commit. So to commit is to save a snapshot of your staged changes. To to now commit. So if you've now done what we call staging. Next we go to what we call commit. So for committing, normally use the command git commit hyphen m then a quote. Maybe you are beginners. As we continue, you'll get to understand we normally have a format for writing professional commits. So maybe the first commit you just say initial, maybe just say initial commit. So if I come, or maybe if I come and then I want to see the commit history, then I just say git history, I'll be able to see. So once we commit this now, once we say git commit, then initial commit. Once we come next time, we say git history. We are going to get Brian did what? This first commit, initial commit, which date it was done, which date the commit was done, which date, time, then who did it. You see. Then next you have what you call branch. So work on different versions of features at the same time. So maybe you are working on sorry. So maybe you're working on a project, like you guys are working on a project, on a bigger project, there are different people working on a project, and then so you don't want to encounter errors, you don't want to encounter bugs and such. So you create a branch. So if you make any changes, you now uh push to the so if you make any changes, you're going to push to the branch. So you push to the branch and then they confirm. Then now they push to the main branch. So you can be able to, or maybe if you have a branch, you can be able to have a branch working on this branch, and then you can be able to merge. Then we merge and such before now push it. So you can be able to have different branches. Then merge to combine changes from different branches. Pull. If you want to get the latest changes, you just use the command git pull. Push to push. Uh, then we have what we call GitHub. So Git is not the same as GitHub. GitHub makes tools that use Git. Then GitHub is the largest host of source code. I've explained it before. It's where we host our code. Then we've already explained how to install it. For macOS, you just open your terminal, then type this one. Or maybe if you're using uh maybe if you're using dual operating system, maybe if you're using uh like Windows subsystem of Linux, can be able to just follow the same command, the same way I'm using. Then you'll be able to install it. Then you have git bash. Mm. So you normally have different commands. The first one is ls, which is for listing. You want to list. Then if you want to check installation, verify your installation, just run the command git version. You're going to get your version, the latest one, tc. Then we have getting started. So getting started with getting started with Git. So first one, if you want to create a directory, just use the command make dir make directory. Then you specify the name of your directory. So in a case whereby now you want to create a directory, I explained it the last time. A directory is a folder. So you have a local and then a remote. So you have a local directory on your machine, which now maybe you want to be working on it locally. Then now you have your remote repo, like a remote directory, a remote folder. So you created your remote repository, but first you have your local directory, your local folder. So what you're going to do first, you create your local directory, your local folder. Then of course you have created your remote repository. Then what you're going to do after creating it, the way we did in this case, we already had our folder directory Xplosion Academy. So what I did, I had already created a repository, a remote repo, Xplosion Academy on GitHub. So what I did, I came to desktop, CD desktop, then I said CD change directory, then I moved to my folder Xplosion Academy. Then once I come into my folder, which is now my local directory on my machine, CD, my local repo, my local directory, then I can now clone my remote repo inside my local directory. Like I am making a copy of my remote repo inside my local directory. In that, when you are now to push our changes, want to push our code which is inside our directory of Xplosion Academy, we're going to move it like Xplosion Academy, like this one now, it's like a box. Then inside it we have different contents. So we just want to move it with the contents inside our box. We just want to move the entire box with its contents. So we're going to that's why we have to clone our remote repo inside our local directory. Then we say git add commit, then we can be able to push to our remote repo. So once we push it, we're going to now see our Xplosion Academy folder directory inside our remote repo, which is Xplosion Academy. The same way you saw here, is it? So like like this one. So you see in this case, this one was a remote repo. It was on my local machine, but I pushed it to my remote, to my local on my local machine, to a directory on my machine. But I pushed it to my remote repo. This one, yeah. Then next. because my VS Code doesn't want to open. I don't know. It's not initializing Git. So why do we initialize? We normally initialize so that Git can be able to track changes. So whichever changes that you're going to make, they can be able to be tracked by Git. Uh, then we have new files. So under new files, a new file is a file that is created or copied into your project folder, but haven't told Git to watch. Create a new file. Key things to know: create a new file with text editor, ls list files, status, check which files are tracked, then understand etc. So you have a command for creating a file. Okay, we created our file this way. Then you have staging. I wanted to do it practically, but because it isn't my VS Code isn't responding, let's just use this example. So after creating your file, first you have to stage it. You stage like in this case, you can stage the individual file. Just say git add the name of the file. Or maybe you can stage all changes. Git add hyphen hyphen dash dash all. Or git add dash a. Or git add dot a period. Then git status, you can be able to see what have you staged and such. Then git restore can be able to unstage a file. Yeah, you can be able to stage a file with git add, then the file name. That's one. You can be able to stage multiple files with the use of this command git add dash dash all or dash a. Or maybe you can even just use git add dot a period space dot. Then we have git commit. So after staging, we commit. So what's a commit? A commit is like a save point in your project. It records a snapshot of your files at a certain time with a message describing what changed etc. Some key commands for commits, we have git commit -m message. So you commit text changes with a message. Git commit -a-m message. Commit all tracked changes, skip staging. Then git log can be able to see commit history. So if you want to commit, you stage, then you commit. So you git commit -m, then your message. For example, so in this case, git commit -m first release of hello world. So if you want to check our commit history, if we run this command git log, we're going to see this commit, this one. For example, this one, first release of hello world etc. So after committing, commit -a -m etc. Um, then so after committing, you now push. So how do you now push? So you just push. Maybe in some cases, uh, before maybe some history for those who like history. So during like 2020, which 2020, which year? The year which it was during actually COVID. Uh, there is this guy who was actually in USA, a black man in USA. Then some cops, I don't know what they did, like then he was killed and such. I've actually forgotten his name. So in tech we had some issues, before the main branch on GitHub, it was called the master branch. But people started actually to bring in some like it was kind of a racism and such. So they had actually to do away with the master branch, and then they had now the main branch. We have what we call, they had to rename master to main, master branch to main branch. So some cases, maybe you want to push your code from now your machine to GitHub, and then maybe see. So you see, in this case, it's saying main. So we are now on the main branch. So if you push our code from our local machine to GitHub, it's going to go to the main branch. But in some cases, maybe you're going to push your code, but you'll see here it's written master. Then on your GitHub, you are now on the main branch. So you see, those are kind of two conflicts. You can't push from a master branch to a main branch. So you have to switch, or maybe you can just rename your master to main. You can check it out and then you'll be able to understand it. Then so after staging, we commit, then we push to our GitHub and such. Yeah. So that's what we normally do. Then we have Git history. Maybe you can learn about Git branching, merging, etc. But before we wind up our session, we just wanted to do some HTML. So HTML is some standard markup language for web pages. And then let's say you're working on maybe it's a house. When you start building a house, we normally have we have the bricks, then we have maybe the windows, the doors, we have now the iron sheet, etc. So HTML is not the structure. The structure like so us having now the parts for fixing windows, doors, maybe ventilation, etc. Then now CSS now it's not the makeup now. CSS is kind of like makeup. Like it's all about styling the styling. It's all about styling. So you build your house. You now want to paint. You now want to have car. Maybe you want to have tiles, etc. That's when CSS comes into action. Then you have now JavaScript. So JavaScript is used for interactivity, like to add dynamic behaviors on our website, etc. JavaScript is like your body system, the body, like a body system, etc. Uh, so, yeah. So we have HTML basic examples. You said if you want to create a heading, just use the heading one, H1, paragraph, P element, etc. You said doc type declaration represents the document type and helps browsers to display web pages correctly. It must only appear once at the top of the page before any HTML pages, tags. It's not case sensitive. The doc type declaration for yeah, you've already said this. Then you said we have headings from heading 1 the largest to heading 6. So as you continue, you realize that they are decreasing. For example, in this case H1 the largest, so H2 now the smallest. You see it's smaller. Then 6 is now the smallest. Yes, smallest. Then we have paragraphs. You can be able to create a paragraph with the use of a p tag, a p element. You have links. If you want to create a link, we normally use what we call an anchor tag, letter A. So just use an opening tag, closing tag. Then you give it a href, which means hyperreference, like the source to your link. Where is your link? Then in between now, you're going to add what the user is going to see. So the user will see this a link, but it's underlined. So when he or she clicks on the link, this a link, it's going to direct him to go to WizCall. Then we have images. We normally use an img tag for creating images. So just an img tag. I said it's self and closing. Doesn't have a closing tag. We give it an alt attribute, an alternate text. Then we give it width and height properties. Yeah. Uh, then we have HTML elements. So we said opening tag, your content goes here, then a closing tag. E.g. H1, we start with the less than sign, then the tag, then greater than sign, then your content less than sign, a forward slash greater than sign. Uh-huh. Yeah, you actually talked about headings, paragraphs, etc. Yeah, so we have a lot to cover under HTML, but more to be able to cover it next week. I hope next week my VS Code is actually going to work because today it has actually disappointed me. I didn't have to reset my machine. So you can call it a session for today, but we'll be able to continue from next week. Yeah. So let me first stop recording. Then okay.